Well, welcome back to Stott's Fine Art. We'll continue on this piece, getting near an end, and I'm going to start. I've got a big area here. When I've got a big area to just get in a layer, I'll just get any type of brush, like just a little house painting detail brush, just something bigger. There's when you've got some smaller detail areas, you can use a finer brush, but so all I want to do is get a little mixture here of cobalt blue and white, titanium white, and it's always a little bit of a challenge to remix and match acrylics. They tend to dry darker and when they're wet, so a lot of times you just go over the whole area. You can't really perfectly match it, but we're going to finish this up, and then right in here, and then I'm going to show you how to come back and change some of these horizon areas. Many times through stages of working, you can cover up some areas you kind of like, so we can get that back with acrylic. We have that user friendliness. You can just beat up an acrylic and keep painting, and it'll just come back and just look even richer and better, as opposed, like we've talked about, the watercolor tend to want to kind of get in and get out of that. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of water in this, and then a little bit of raw sienna. Just give it a little custom flavor. Like a chef, you just mix to taste, only don't actually taste the acrylic paint. Just a figure of speech. I did have a student once that used to clean, not a brush this big, but clean his brush on his tongue sometimes, and I was worried about that. Anyway, I just had him one semester, so hopefully he's okay. Okay, so really just up here, it's just like painting the side of a barn or something. You're just laying it in. Now I'm letting some of the again, some of this underpainting showing through, and I'm going to we'll be doing another layer or two here, and that's one thing to remember, just the layering. You can just, if something's not quite right with a painting, I just keep layering it. Something will form up, something will appear and bail you out. But even if I cover up a lot of this underpainting, some of it will get through, and just that little bit of warmth. And so I'll go the extra mile with this layering, sometimes just for a little bit of gain, but that little bit of gain sometimes is what it takes to do your best work. And on some of these areas, where I'm just doing a big sky here, you can always skip forward on that. Of course, you might miss a entertaining story if you do that, so just warn you. Or you might miss a very unentertaining story. It's up to you. And just because I spent many years as a watercolorist early in my career, I referred to it a lot, and I still love watercolor and teach it over at Norman Firehouse Art Center and the Edmund Fine Art Institute. I use it as an example, just as a comparison. And there's just some things with a watercolor you really want to just get in and get out. You don't want to keep messing with it. Can get overworked. Okay, now you see I'm just throwing that in pretty easily. When I get down where I really want some of this transition area to be a soft transition, like some of these soft blends that you see in a sky, that's where I get a little more dry brush, and so using a little less paint and creating a transition area. You also might want to, go to a little bit smaller brush at that time. And get this in here. And I'll just, when I'm painting, I'll just keep working on an area. Sometimes it flows real nicely and pretty fast you get it done, and then sometimes you have to keep working at it. And again, that's painting. And you do too, you need to at times go over things to create this atmosphere. And again, this atmospheric style is what I've adopted years ago. I'll go over areas and get that softness, and sometimes you take a little too much definition out of it, so I'll have to come back and touch up the tree here, and then maybe bring a little more of atmosphere over it. Eventually you get there. You're the artist, so you decide what's right. And for me, I kind of like this over here. This is a little too soft maybe. And you can also remember lifting can create some really neat effects. See, just that little before it completely dries. You can get a nice light touch and help those two areas mesh together. You can come up and have like a nice streak of color in the sky too. Like say right in here you've got something going on with the a sundown or a sunrise. Just play with it till you get it right. But that's that lifting is a big part of what I do, and what you could do too. And that, for example's sake, I'll leave that in for now. I try not to let shapes I do of anything look too human-made, like under the hands of a painter. Like I don't particularly want this to look like just a big block of color. You saw I went to more lengths to make it softer, look at a little more natural. That's something in painting, landscape painting, that I think you want to do. You want soft edges and broken lines and not so human-made looking. And see, I had that just right. I kind of wanted to show you what I didn't want to do, and then so I need to come back and fix it a little, and just stay with it as long as it takes. We're not in any, you know, painting's like a fine meal. You don't want to wolf it down. Just enjoy it. If you enjoy painting, it's like, I don't want it to go over too fast. Take my time, and some of these things are just experiments. You know, it's like maybe I wasn't planning to do that, but wanted to see what it would look like, and a couple of spots in there. Okay, it's not too bad. Okay, so that's so you just kind of dry brush blending. Another more common term, of a layman's term, is feathering. You just kind of feather it down in there, and okay, so I've got some few nice spots in here I like. Not totally happy with it, but I'll let me show you, like right along in here, right where maybe the sun's going down and you're and maybe you got a little too aggressive with the blue before, you know, and it's already dry, and you wish you had some of that gold back. Now you can put it back a couple of different ways. You can just mix up some opaque paint. It's meant to be opaque, and work it all through here. There's another way to do it, and it's even brighter if you want it like a really super highlight. You can take just some white paint and just it's like recapture the white canvas like when you first started. And find just the right brush for that here. This one looks pretty good. Okay, so you can just recapture some white canvas by painting it white or with gesso and feather that in there. And then come back and do a glaze over that. And that glaze will create even more of a light, you know, more light than just opaque paint. We're using the white basically just to block out some darker colors that we decided you know, we didn't want. Decided we wanted to go back. And again, you could have used, we're going to get some orange yellow type sundown sunny color and do a glaze right in here on top of the white. The white's going to have to dry, of course. Or you could have just mixed up that color opaquely, but this way you get even more of a brightness through a glaze. And you can use a glazing liquid, or you can just thin down some paint with some water. And glazing liquid's a little richer if I've got a large area to glaze, a lot of times I'll just use an acrylic glazing liquid, and small areas just maybe some water. Just not go to too much trouble. Okay, so see, I'm just working around this tree, this very soft area, and if you decide you want to go further down to that horizon, you can cut down. You can get down in there. With an opaque medium, you can block out. You can paint somewhat negatively. You can't block out what's already there. And these glazes, they're pretty cool. They create even more of a glow, because instead of just light bouncing off of an opaque surface, you've got light, it's bouncing off an opaque surface, but once we put a glaze in it, it's got to go through that translucent glaze, which is thin, but it's there, and then bounce back through the translucent glaze, and then that creates a little more of a glow, and kind of an interesting look. That's why occasionally I'll go to glazes. I'm going to go ahead and bring some more. You can see I'm just letting that dance around, trying to keep it random looking. I don't want to come up here and just do this. Stop it right there. Now you could do that. Sometimes in the sky you do see some hard edges, but the theme of the painting is it's more soft edged. It's more atmospheric, and so I want to keep that soft transition of everything. Let's see, now I got to get that off there. I thought about some of these bigger areas that take a little more time. I thought about maybe time-lapsing, putting this into the editor and time-lapsing it, and maybe I'll do that sometime. But then, a lot of people want to see the whole enchilada. They want to see every bit of it. So, you can always just, fast forward or scroll past this part if you're not interested in learning. So you can decide that. You're adults. Maybe I'll let that kind of meander up across in there. So I'm kind of getting a little more of that exposed than I wanted to, but and again, this is just a stepping stone here. This isn't the finished product. We'll put a little over here too. But when you want your brightest glow, if you want to be known as the painter of light, like some have claimed, all you need to know really is a few techniques, just simple techniques. And you too can be a painter of light. Amazing. Okay, I kind of want that horizon line to be a little more even there, so I'm going to just give somewhat of a consistent line down in here. You can even squeeze down here and create a little bit of a trunk, you know. I just knocked those in there, but you can always come back and create, like there's a show where some of them the foliage isn't all the way to the ground. Maybe there's a bit of a trunk exposed. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Let's try to get back. And moving back, it helps to move back to see things. Sometimes you can't see the overall picture because you're looking too tight at one little area, so never hurts to get back, take a look at the piece. And if you don't want so much here, there's times when whoa, there's times when you know you want that glow to be more in the middle right there and not across the whole thing. So, and again, you can always change that. You get constant ability to edit with acrylic, which is, that's why I think it's the most user-friendly medium. Okay. Now you got to let that dry. If you get on it with the glaze, that'll just mix with the paint and get all milky and opaque. It's no longer a glaze, so that has to dry. Now it doesn't take long. It's acrylic paint, and okay, while we're letting that dry, let me just kind of finish this part over here. Of course, you can always hit it with a hairdryer and speed it up. One little word of caution when you're heating up something, you know, like a watercolor, just most of them will have a hairdryer handy, and of course it doesn't help with oil, but it'll certainly hurry an acrylic. Now, the one word of caution, if you heat up a canvas too much, you can get it to relax and get a little floppy, you know, and lose its nice drum-like quality. So just be careful with that. If it does loosen up, it'll usually tighten back up when it cools off, or you can always, a really good way to tighten a canvas, a cotton canvas, doesn't work on linen, is you just flip it over and you know, you can drop a little bit of water, rub it in, it'll make the canvas shrink. That's cotton, you know, it'll shrink right up and it'll tighten up. And you know, I don't mean just submerge it in a bathtub, but sprinkle a little water on the back of it, on that unprotected cotton, and it'll shrink pretty good. Let's see. Let me get some green. Let me get some black and some raw sienna. I've already got that. Let me just get some black here, and we'll just knock that out while that's drying. And then we'll be almost finished this piece. I'll go ahead and use this bigger guy here. So get some hooker's green, maybe a little black to darken it up. Maybe a little raw sienna in there. Okay, that's probably a little too much black right off the bat. So it's too much. Let me take some of that off. Oh, that looks pretty good, just like that. I kind of like that. Sometimes you get lucky with a painting, get some nice things happening. Let me just do that. Let some of those under layers come through. See, that's looking pretty nice. Go ahead and get all the way to the end. Okay. Just removing some of it. Remember, just lifting color, you can create some pretty nice effects. And with this textured canvas, you see all the little things happening in there. And I'm going to bring that all the way up into that. And I want to put a little trunk on that. A little darker. Okay, got that in, and it's a little it's a little thick. So again, you can always take a little of it out. Anyway, I won't mess too much with that. It's not super important. Okay, so hopefully this white has dried. Just test that. Acrylic will dry pretty quick, but then you have to let it set a little longer, because if you get on it and it's not sealed over and dried, it'll reactivate. Eventually, you know, it'll completely seal over, but I think we're about there. Okay, so I want to get some sort of nice sunny sundown color, and I think I want something a little more orange. My raw sienna yellow ochre, a little bit of yellow is fine. I think I want to introduce a little more of an orange in it. And what I do, I would just get some warm colors out of my palette and kind of play with it in one area and see See what looks the best that day. Some red. I can just mix some orange if we need to. Some of these colors are starting to dry out. Okay. What else do I need? We'll just try it with that. Now remember, all we need is a little bit of a glaze, and we don't have to, this glaze, we don't want to mix white with it, you know, unless we were doing it opaquely. We're putting a translucent glaze, and that white will provide light, kind of like, in this case, like a watercolor, where the white of the paper or the canvas shows through, and you're using, you know, more of a translucent color. And yellow with a little bit of this red is going to be pretty thin, even without watering it down or using a glazing liquid. So, get another palette here and run out of mixing space. Let's just use this. Of course, it doesn't need as much red. Red is a stronger pigment. Okay, that's pretty thick. So if I need a little water, I can just add a little bit of water to it. Okay, I think you're gonna like this. Let me get another paper towel. My paper towels are gone. Here's one. These glazes are kind of magical. I like the way, and all you do is just kind of have to voila. Isn't that cool? Look how bright that is, because it's got white underneath it. That's worth the price of admission right there, isn't it? That's the power of glazing. You can even put it on the tree a little bit too. Say you want to just do a wash of light. You put a little in that tree. And if you want, even maybe like some of that light kind of glowing on that barn just a bit. Even here where it's silhouetted, maybe if you want to lighten that up just a bit, you can put a little bit on there. Kind of uniforms it. Now right over here, don't forget that. Isn't that interesting what a glaze can do? I was doing a demonstration at the Oklahoma City Arts Festival. I had a booth there. I was selling work. And the Oklahoma City Arts Council asked me to do a demonstration for their Art Moves program. And I had finished it up, but it was a Santa Fe scene, adobes, and it had a kind of a coyote fencing real prominently lining this road. And I just didn't like the color of the fencing. It was a nice warm color, and I got it. It just didn't like the way it came out. Look at that. Look at that fire come out of there. And there were some people watching, of course, the demonstration. And so as I was looking at it, I decided, so you can take some of this off too, get it even lighter. play with it there. But anyway, I decided to, I'll just put a glaze over those fence posts. It'll get that nice glow of light that everything else had. I just didn't like what I'd come up with. And so I did, and it looked real nice. I was very happy with it. And one lady was standing there, and she said, "Now, did you know you were going to put that glaze on there all along, or did you just not like the way it turned out?" And first thing I thought was, how did she know that? Did she read my mind? And I thought it was interesting. I said, yeah, I save a lot of things with a glaze. And she was either a heck of an artist herself or a heck of a mind reader. But see, if you fast forward, you miss awesome stories like that. And I sold a lot of paintings. People actually tell me, well, we like the painting, but we love the story behind it, and so we decided to buy that. So it's an excellent marketing strategy for those of you who think a painting should sell itself. Au contraire, you need to put some sort of salesmanship on it, and have a good attitude about it. And even if you don't sell more, you'll be happier. That's what we all want. That's why we paint, isn't it? To make us happy. Okay, now look at that. So that goes. See, that was just much nice and bright. I put a little orange. In fact, I think what I'll do, haven't been hugely happy with that. I like the look of it, but the color was a little off, so may play with. I'll coordinate that, see how that kind of coordinates it just a little bit. And then finish that up over here. You can even get on top of the blue a little bit if you want. Down in here you can show these little finishing touches. You can get real aggressive, you can show some light coming down on that foreground, just all over the place. Just sometimes the messier you get, the more awesome it looks. See how a little red look, a little more red, just see what it looks like. Yeah, I don't particularly like that, but there again, that's when you can take a little of that back off. Now, you see when I take that off, that underpaint, the white was dry, but that orange yellow wasn't. So see, it took it off almost down to the white there. But that's okay. Sometimes those weird little shapes like that white trying to come through are interesting looking. So and just barely touching some of these high points. This is when you just kind of have fun, kind of finishing it up and seeing what you can do, and then sometimes you don't like it, so you take it right off. I don't like that red up there. I think I like it, the orange down here, but there, leave it alone. And now I could, I'm going to come back in with some blue, light blue, maybe right in here. And then give that a little hazier look. And then I'm put a little more, maybe a few bluebonnet colors over here, but this is essentially finished. The only thing that I would do is I'll do a little demonstration just right here, and then I'll finish it. It'll call it finished, and probably not do any more. Not do another video on this one. We'll come out with something new. But let me just show you how you can create some good depth. Leave this a little darker, but you lighten. We've lightened this. We're through with the color, but we may want to lighten some of the blue down along the horizon there, and that creates a depth, because as you look up, it's deeper in the sky and it gets hazier, paler. So I'll get just a pale blue, and you'll see how. Now watch how this kind of helps finish it off a little bit, and it'll just disappear. Need a little bit there, maybe. I guess I lied. I will work my way across and get the full effect. You can, even here, if you get too down into here, you can put some of that back in there. I just go up short ways, and here I'm just touching the ridges a little. I'm not really just nuking it, with light. I'm just sometimes just a little overall lighter color will lighten the whole thing. And really, like I said, we're interested more in the little bit of this lower area. And I'm just kind of working around these. I don't really want to put the blue in there, right in there maybe. A little bit. Up in there. I'm being pretty quick with this, but you see the idea. I'm going to stop in a minute, get back, and we'll show you the effect. More in there, and you can always you get your dry brush a little too heavy, just take it off. And I'll probably come in and just do maybe a wash in there. Just wait and see how this looks. Wait a day or two and see. So it's a very dry brush. That's the dry brush blending. It's got some paint on it. Okay, now that's it's a little rough. I would maybe want to calm that down a bit, but you see the effect. See how that lighter color and deeper up here, so we didn't just have this to work with, we had the blue part too. And as they say, no painting is ever finished. It's simply abandoned. You just get tired of it and you've done enough. So I think I'll abandon this. I'll do maybe a few little touches here and there, but I probably won't have it back on video. Okay, well, if you like this, you can subscribe and put a like on it, and we'll do some more. We'll be doing some watercolor and some oil, and let me show you just a teaser for sometime in the future. You see this smooth, thin layers. The layers were smooth. The canvas has a little bit of texture, but the oils I do with a palette knife, and I've taught that before in classes. But you see just how, maybe you can see as I turn it with the light, maybe up close. See how cool that is? Palette knife oil. We'll do some of that sometime, so not sure when, but we'll get one of those in here and some watercolor. And I like to show you the whole thing, you know, and again, you can always move the little button over if you want to go through something and faster. But there again, you will miss some great stories. Okay, well, thanks from Stott's Fine Art. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.